this is Professor Lisa Anderson, and I'd like to welcome you to the Liberal Arts Elective History of American Social Movements. This is going to be a great class. You're going to learn a lot about how to question assumptions and to better understand older relatives and friends. Everything we're doing is post-World War II, so it's all about movements that have affected people who are still alive now. But perhaps most importantly, the class is going to introduce you to primary sources as the narrative core. In other words, you're going to be doing a lot of the work of making and designing history and figuring out how that narrative gets created. We're going to read primary sources, which are documents written about the past, in the past. This is not, in other words, your high school history course. In this course, you'll learn what it was like to live in the past, sure, but also what it's like to be a historian or an archivist. As a historian, you'll uncover the past and interpret it, and you'll do so less with a textbook and more by looking at the documents that people actually left behind. As an archivist, you're going to have a really interesting and unusual sort of opportunity. You're going to have a chance to collect materials about the current Black Lives Matter movement and help to preserve them here at Juilliard, thus laying the groundwork for some later scholars' research. Because we're moving to an online format this fall, I also want to reassure you that I am in fact a real live human person. I've been on Juilliard faculty since 2007, and I will get a chance and really look forward to an opportunity to get to know you as a person too. Some of you already know me, so hi to those people. And you can feel free to Google me, although I'll give you a couple heads up right from the get-go. There's one Lisa Anderson who is a very famous professional surfer. That is not me. And then there's another Lisa Anderson who teaches at Columbia, also not me. She specializes in the Middle East. So I'm the Lisa Anderson, if you Google me, who went to UCLA for my undergraduate, double majoring in history and American literature. Then I went to the University of Chicago for my PhD in history, and my research specialty is in late 19th century American political culture. So you could look, I have a first book that's on the history of the Prohibition Party in American politics, and right now I'm just finishing up co-authoring a book on the history of and philosophy of sex education. So my recent research published related to that was in the History of Education Quarterly, and in fact has to do with a social movement that occurs in the New York City public schools in the 1970s. So I've spent most of quarantine basically doing things that are right at the nexus between survivalism and domesticity. I have been baking bread, figuring out how to go long periods of time between grocery trips, sewing, building shelves, expanding my garden. I started enumerating the census, so if you've had people knocking on your door, that was probably me, and generally tormenting my own children with extra schoolwork. So they are super happy that I am back and teaching other people. Okay, so that's me. So what about you? So the next task in this module is to quickly record a Flipgrid, right? And a Flipgrid is just a short 1.5 minute video in which you get to introduce yourself to the rest of the class. In my experience, people record these, I watch them, other students watch them. It's actually a really nice way to kind of identify entire people, which is something that seems really valuable. So in addition to your name and your area of study here at Juilliard, we'd love to hear anything that you'd like to share. You can interview family members, give a tour of your study space, whatever it is that you want to do. I've seen just about everything on these. And they are really great. They're really fun. And also just like to go straight to many students' concerns right off the get-go, this is different than March. Right? Faculty have now had a chance to prepare. We've had a chance to experiment, to learn what our colleagues in departments of education have been working on for a decade, which is how to create online education that is good and useful. I personally would love to get back in the actual classroom and see your actual faces, right? But I assure you that the quality of education you'll get here will in fact be of a really high quality. Right? We'll be learning about things that really are important, and you will be mastering amounts of information. And more than that, the course is even organized in a really customized fashion where I'm going to ask you to put a lot of the advanced work in during these first 7 weeks when you're still for sure at home, right? Or I shouldn't say that. Some of you are already back in New York, but overwhelmingly at home. And then with the idea that as you come back to Juilliard as a campus, I know you're going to be really wanting to get back to doing the performing arts work that you do with such excellence. And so we're trying to kind of arrange the schedules to accommodate that so that you'll be confident about your standing in the course before you return, so you'll be able to make the very best use of those opportunities to perform once they get started. So we're here for you, I'm here for you, and this is going to be a good semester. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to be a really fun class, and I look forward to meeting you.